A special thank you to Yaniv of Chazak, Yossi Katz from Breslov Research Institute, and Tzvi, Yosef Nahama, and Yosef Kaduna for a beautiful, beautiful evening. And my Rebbe, Rabbi Chaim Kramer, 43 years, who's speaking soon. Chazak U'Barach to all of you for pulling this off tonight. So tonight is a commemoration of this week is the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Rabbi Natan of Nemirov. He was the main student of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. Most of my own personal inspiration since I'm a teenager has come from the teachings of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. And when I say most, I'm probably slightly exaggerating. It's probably close to 98%, if not 100%, and I'm absolutely serious. So tonight I thought I would share with you some of the mekorot, some of the sources which I think help us understand why it is that Breslov Hasidut, which is very unique in that it doesn't require of you to change your nusach. I'm raised Sephardi. I'm actually technically Italian on my father's side. My father's from Italy from the 13th century. My mother's born in Baghdad. I was told that she should have been born in Baghdad, but she's born in Baghdad, and so I'm Sephardi on my mother's side, but I was raised Sephardi in a Spanish-Portuguese synagogue in London all my life. And when I started delving into Breslov Hasidus, it was so interesting to me that here was a Hasidus, which even though it's called a Hasidus, it's really not a regular Hasidus at all. It doesn't require you to change your clothing or your nusach. So that means you can be a Sephardi and still be Breslov. You can be a Litvak, believe it or not, and still be Breslov. It doesn't require you to make any serious changes in who you actually are. So I think that's one of the main nekudot, one of the main points that has made Breslov such an easy entree, easy entrance. But the real token, the real content of what I believe Breslov Hasidus has such a tremendous appeal to a full gamut of total spectrum of Klal Yisrael. Anyone who here has been to Oman? Anyone here has been to Oman? Okay, so, oh wow, okay. That's where you've been to Oman? So, if you've been to Oman, especially for Rosh Hashanah, anyone here been for Rosh Hashanah? Yeah, a few people here for Rosh Hashanah. So you will know that if you had to identify, is there every type of Jew there on Rosh Hashanah? Yes or no?
Yes.
Every imaginable type of Jew. Ponytail, not ponytail, earrings, not earrings, strimal, without a strimal. And did you get the sense, and just tell me if this was your experience, did you get the sense that nobody could care less about appearance? Was that true?
Yes.
Absolutely true. Did you get the strongest sense that all barriers of differences were meaningless, and that we're all there for the same reason? Because you have emunah peshuta, very strong, simple emunah, conviction, that here is buried one of the greatest tzaddikei emet, one of the greatest tzaddikim, righteous individuals in world history, and that his teachings have a very deep, profound, and simple relevance on a daily basis. So I'm going to share with you some of the statements that I feel have been the most penetrating for myself, and something that I've been focusing on more and more in the last year or so, I think, in most of my presentations, and that is the role of machshava, the role of your mind, the role of thought. So Rav Nachman, and it's tonight's, the Yortzeit of Rabbi Natan was this week. So in Chaye Moharan, which Rabbi Natan put together many of the statements of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, he tells us the following. I'm going to quote you inside. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to quote inside because I really want you here to hear the words, and through it, I think it helps us have a deeper appreciation why people get so excited about these Sfarim. At the back of the room, you'll see there almost every sefer that's in Breslov has been printed in English, including Likutei Moharan, which took the best part of 30 years to translate, with all the annotations, all the footnotes. So let me share with you what Rav Nachman says about thought. שהמחשבה נבראת שלא תהיה נחה לעולם. Your thought was created to never rest. You cannot stop thinking. He mentions in the next line that when you're sleeping, you're also thinking. We're not really cognizant of it, obviously, but that's the reality. Your mind never stops thinking. But what he says next is really quite extraordinary. Really, your mind never stops thinking. When you decide to move from one thought to another, exactly as you want, through this you can cancel and strengthen yourself through the next thought. You can actually let go of whatever thoughts or confusion was pounding on my mind, was hurting me. So he says, the rule here, this, that it appears to us, that it's really hard to stop thinking anxiety, resentment, anger, hatred, confusion, fear. Hu sheker gadol. This is a tremendous illusion. It's not true. It's completely untrue. Ki be'emet, because in reality, hamachshava biyad ha'adam lahatoto kirtzono. A person always has the ability to switch to a different thought. How many of you have been, let's say, starving, and just, I haven't eaten for I don't know how many hours, and suddenly, oh, Sandra, how are you? I'm so glad you called just now. I've got so much to catch up. We haven't spoken in 30 minutes. Listen, and now you talk for the next hour and a half. You ever had such an experience? You get off the phone an hour and a half later, and you say to yourself, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was starving. Excuse me. If I was starving, and I was just about to go to the refrigerator, and then I got distracted, do you see how my mind went somewhere else? And in doing so, was not even thinking about food for the next hour and a half while I'm catching up with my friend. Your mind is doing that and is capable of that all the time. A person doesn't have to be an incredible person who of a tremendous stature in control of thought to do this. He's telling this is how you work all the time anyway. And therefore a person can switch his mind to a different thought. One of the examples he gives is in Likutei Moharan of a horse and a rider. The horse is your thinking and the rider is you. Where are your thoughts taking you? And he says, if your thoughts are taking you in a direction you don't want to go in, because you don't enjoy these thoughts about your mother-in-law, or your father-in-law, or your sister-in-law, or your brother-in-law, or you're not enjoying your thoughts about your boss, or about your career, or about one's spiritual career, or one's wife, or husband, or children, or chevruta, or community, or neighbor. Have I covered everybody? So when my thoughts are getting carried away and it's taking me in a direction that makes me feel angry or bitter or upset, because that's what my thinking is doing to my feeling. I feel my thoughts all the time. So comes on Rabbi Jonathan Breslov and says, all you have to do, like a rider on a horse, is move the rein. Anyone here has been horse riding? You move the reins just very slightly, only subtly. You don't have to pull hard to get the horse to go in a different direction. It's a very slight pull, and the horse goes in a different direction, the one you want the horse to go in. The horse is our thought, our thinking. Your mind is able to switch to something else. Comes from Rav Natan of Nemirov, and he offers the following. In Tav Kuf Vav, in also Chayei Moran. Pam Ahat Dibarti Imo. There was one time I was speaking to Rav Nachman Breslov, Mi'inyan Machshavot Rabot, about overthinking, like a lot of thinking. How my overthinking, says Rav Natan, would confuse me. Whether it was feeling down or in my performance in mitzvot, whether I'm washing my hands right, or did I do the mitzvah correctly, did I kiddush properly, with the right amount of wine, etc. So then he says that Rav Nachman responded to him, v'heshivli, he replied to me, Kvar dibarti imcha, I've already spoken to you about this. She'ein ata tzarech listakel al zeh. You do not need to pay attention to this. V'dibarti mo'od, harbe minyan elu. After that, I said, even saying that I don't have to think about it, is making me think about it. I'm thinking about not thinking about it. So Rav Nachman replied a second time, and then he said, "V'amali al tatil lachshov klal." Don't begin thinking. V'zeh etzah nifla lechol davar. So Rav Nachman writes, this is an amazing, simple strategy. Ki kama pa'amim maval b'min machshavot me'od. Many times we get so absorbed by our thinking. The overweight thinking carries so much weight and is knocking at me all the time. And I'm getting a headache from my own thinking. And comes on Rav Nachman quoting Rav Nachman, Ki kama pa'amim mivalbim memachshavot me'od v'kol ma sherotzim nidchotam. The more I try to push them be'ezot dekiyot, with whatever force I'm using to push my thoughts away, guess what happens next? Hem mivalbim yoter yoter. They confuse me more. Do you know why? Because I'm fighting my thinking. So he says, v'ikar ha'etzah, the main advice, livli l'hatchil lachshov b'hem klal, ignore them, don't pay any attention, don't think about the thoughts. U'lesalet da'ato mehem legamri, take your mind off it completely. One of the examples he gives is learn a pasuk, or get busy with a phone call. He doesn't say a phone call, but get busy with your masal matan, with your own business. Go make a business call, make a call to a friend. Just get busy. There are so many ways we distract ourselves. Pick up a book. Rabbi Arush, he would offer that when a person is experiencing the Yetzer Hara, says Rav Nachman of Breslov in Torah 49, Ha-Yetzer Hara is really the machshavot ra'ot. My thinking is my Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Tov, hen machshavot tovot. The Yetzer Tov is not more complicated. It's not some sort of force that's trying to destroy me. It's my own thinking. It's my thoughts. It's so liberating to experience that what I'm experiencing is me. It's not my wife. It's not my husband. It's not the traffic. It's not the traffic that's stressing me out. It's my thinking about the traffic. Thinking about my wife drives me nuts. This kid is enough to kill anybody. And I'm thinking and thinking. It's the thinking that's hurting me, not the kid. It's not my spouse. So comes along Rav Nachman through his Talmud, Rav Nachman of Nemirov, and he says the following. I could go to sleep at night, I'm lying in bed. Tav Kufnun. When I think about something that's not true twice, guess what happens? Na'aseh emet. It becomes reality. So I'm thinking about something someone said to me at work today, or who cut me off, or interrupted me, or said an unkind word, or looked at me in a way that I'm hurt. Or it really is that sister-in-law or brother-in-law that really upset me, or put me to shame in front of the rest of my family, or bullies me, whoever, whatever it is. Says Rav Nathan, I go to sleep at night and I think about something, not once but twice, and suddenly it becomes real for me. I keep reviewing this again and again, and guess what happens? It becomes real to me. You really are such a nasty piece of work. I hate you. I'm still lying in bed, I'm not asleep yet, I can't fall asleep, because my mind is reinforcing this thought. So he continued and said the following. Sheyesh echad, here's a person, sheshochev al mitato. He's lying in bed, uboded milibo dvar sheker al chavero. He's thinking in his mind something about a friend, of what that person said or did. Shechavero diber alav, or aseh lo shelo kehogen. This person spoke against him or did something not nice towards him. La'achisot, to make him angry. Ukiyotze b'zeh, or anything related to that. U'matchil litragez al zeh. He begins to get all fired up, all angry. U'boeh ka'aso al chavero. And now his anger is being inflamed against his friend. He says, he's trying to go to sleep. But where's his mind? His mind is not sleeping. His mind is very busy collecting information that he's interpreting as this person is a piece of thank you, rubbish, garbage. And he finishes off, I become so angry against this person, for no reason, for nothing. Because I'm the one who's doing this in my own mind against this person. Meanwhile, the other person's completely he never meant what I thought he meant. Or he wasn't speaking to me, he was speaking to the person behind me. Or he was upset about something else. There's so many other possibilities, but I'm stuck on my interpretation. And I review it, and review it, and review it. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's not going to sleep tonight? I'm the one who's suffering. Why am I doing this to myself? So in a similar vein, he tells us, in Pei Gimel, that's paragraph 83 of Sichat Haran, do you know when I will be zocher, I'll be deserving of Yishuv Hadat Amiti, real peace of mind. Now, Yishuv Hadat is a very important word. Yishuv is from the word shav, which means sit. So it's not piz or nefesh where the mind is in all sorts of directions. Yishuv Hadat means the mind is settled and easy to focus without going in lots of direction. Where will I experience Yishuv Hadat Amiti? When my legs are facing the door, I've just passed away, and now, all of a sudden, every tava, every desire I had, every anxiety, every fear, every bilbil, every type of confusion I ever had suddenly disappears. We're not in this world anymore. We're entering the Olam Ha'emet, the real world, and all of a sudden it becomes so obvious that all the fretting and anger and disappointment and bitterness towards that child, I invested so much in this kid. You have no idea. I got so much anguish. And then I wake up dead to the reality that in that child's world and mind, they were doing 100% their best. I was holding them to an unrealistic expectation, maybe based on my culture or my upbringing, and in doing so, guess who's getting hurt? I'm hurting myself for nothing. And Yishuv Data Amiti, the real peace of mind, will come about when, says Rav Nachman, why should I wait so long if I realize now, while I'm really awake in this world, that really anxiety and fear and confusion is what I'm thinking about the world. And yet, as he brings attention to the last two paragraphs of Sichat Haran, it's in Rav Nachman's Wisdom at the back there, you can get it. A phenomenal book, written actually by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan's first translation ever was of Nachman's Wisdom, Sichat Haran. And he made the claim that he believed his personal success as a prolific writer, extraordinary, deep thinker and writer, was because the first book he ever translated was Rav Nachman's of Breslov's Sefer HaSichat Haran, Rav Nachman's Wisdom. In the last two paragraphs, you'll see there where Rav Nachman was quoted saying, don't ever say the good old days. As though to say, it's not good now. But it is, look at the world, it's so confused, terrorism. Look at the Democratic Party who are twisting values so that freedom, the new definition of freedom, is to do what you want. In any way, which way you want, with whom you want. The Supreme Court have legitimized same-gender marriage. The world's getting... And says Rav Nachman, don't ever fall into the trap of thinking the world's getting worse. Oh, the good old days. He says, from the beginning of time, it's got better and better and better. Avram Avinu came along, and then Yitzhak, and then Yaakov, and the Shiftei and Sarah Imenu, and Rivka, and Rachel, and Leah, and then Moshe Rabbeinu, David HaMelech, and all the great tzaddikim, the Baal Shem Tov, the Arizal. Oh, says Rav Nachman, and when Mashiach comes, will be the final tikkun. The world is getting better and better all the time. Don't get trapped in the media. I was thinking, media is a very interesting word. Me-dia. Whose opinion is it? What do I care for everybody else's opinions? What am I doing? Whose opinions am I putting into my mind? Me-dia. Whose mind is that? It's not Hashem's mind. So come from Rav Nachman Breslov, it tells us, live b'simcha lashon machshava. That's what the Ben Ish Chai says. B'simcha, the otyot machshava. Machshava means thought. B'simcha means the state of happiness. They share the exact same letters. Why? Because where does happiness truly exist? In your pinky? Your elbow? Your kneecap? Where do we experience simcha? Oh, simcha is the machshava. Takes place in the mind. Rav Nosson tells us Ikar Adam, the main person, hu ha-machshava shebemoach. That is the thought that is in your brain. Shehi ha-neshama. This is brought in Birkot Hariyah and Birkot Pratiot, Halacha Hey. The main human being is not your body, it's not your wardrobe, it's not the car, it's not the zip code we live in, it's not the size of our home, it's not even who we're married to, it's not even our yichus, it's not even our children. The real us, what are we thinking? Rav Nachman calls it seichel hanikneh, what we acquire in our lifetime that we take with us into the next world. The thoughts of being done on ourselves, looking for an interpretation that puts ourselves in a good light, instead of me beating myself up. I'm no good. I'll never be a good father. I'll never be a good mother. I'll never be a good parent. I'll never be a good husband. I'll never be a good wife. And I'm beating myself up. But where am I beating myself up? In my thoughts and the memories of mistakes I've made. And comes from Rav Nachman Breslov and tells us again and again, I'm always only one thought away from changing the real me. One thought away. Oh my gosh, is that enough to inject simcha, happiness? Because is it possible that if that's really, really, really true, that who I was yesterday, day before, a month ago, a year ago, doesn't dictate who I am today? It's just a memory of me and my mistakes of the past. So all of a sudden, if it's really true, the only person we really are is right now. The right now is just now, and now, and now. It's the next thought, it's the next thought, it's the next thought. We always are one thought away from whatever we've been experiencing till now that we don't enjoy, don't like, that we get filled with anger or resentment or bitterness. The liberation that this is inviting us to have is the greatest imaginable liberation. Because a person could be a prisoner in a prison and recognize that the only prison that is a real prison is if I'm imprisoned by my own thoughts, and I believe I can't change. I believe there's no hope for me. I believe that I'll just never, ever get in control of my life. And I'm putting myself down ad infinitum, without measure. And that's just a thought, the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara was created for us not to kill, not to conquer. It was created for us not to listen to. And no matter how many times it keeps coming back, knocking on the doors of our mind,